Everybody, welcome to one more round. Today I'm super excited. I got a good friend of mine from many years, Sam Kladis, today. So he's the founder of Welcome Home AZ magazine, which is going on 13 years, had great success in the magazine business. But today we're going to talk a little bit about it all. I mean, he volunteers at an amazing Kids for Cancer camp every summer that I know he's passionate about. His magazine has grown from, I don't know, what was your magazine?
First one came out in October of 2010 at 32 pages.
And what are we at now?
We're at 3 different zones here in the Phoenix area and 56 to 64 page magazine.
Yeah. And it's funny. So we were talking about how we met, but this is just kind of a testimony to kind of keeping your ears open, because I was at a Starbucks over on Dobson and Baseline.
Exactly.
You happened to be at a meeting with somebody. Was it somebody you were trying to sell ads to?
Somebody I was just getting, I was talking to about the magazine and the importance of targeting new homeowners. Mm-hmm. And this tall dude comes over and goes, "I couldn't help it over here. I just want to leave you my card." And I think that was 2011.
Yep.
And I know you did one of your casts. You were talking about meeting people in different places.
Yeah.
And it's been a long history since then. You've helped with my website, but I have actually been able to help and refer you over to a number of my other clients.
Yeah.
And as you give kudos on that end, I'll go kudos back to you, because I've always introduced Josh as a business person that understands the internet and how to market there, opposed to a computer person who doesn't understand business.
Yeah, and I've always appreciated that introduction, because it is very different.
Right.
I did start more with kind of a business acumen mindset, and then it's like, well, I need to learn this digital stuff. So I dived in, started learning websites and all that kind of stuff, and it was cool. But I'll never forget, because I gave you my card, and then I think it was about 2 weeks later, you call me and say, "Hey, this is Sam," and I had forgotten at this point. I'm like, Sam. And he's like, "Yeah, we met at Starbucks." I'm like, "Got it." And then you told me at the time somebody you were dating had a hair extension company and was looking to build a website, and that was kind of our first project together.
That was a big project,
and
it was amazing, both the front end and the back end on that. And that's some of the areas where so many people end up diversifying. I'm launching a business, helping somebody launch another business, tearing myself in multiple different places. And since that time of parting, unfortunately, that business and that relationship, been able to build very successful business. I mean, I have over 100 advertisers in Phoenix and Tucson.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that they love me just because they love me, but the reason they like me so much is because I get a return on their investment.
Yep. Yeah, one of the things that I've always loved about your magazine is it's very intentional on who it hits.
Yeah.
And you can talk a little bit about that. I don't want to steal that thunder.
Yeah, really when it comes into a point, there's so many different ways to be able to advertise and market. When you come into the home improvement world, you could target established homeowners. What I mail to here in the Phoenix metro area currently is 135,000 of the newest homeowners. Anyone purchasing a home is getting a copy of the magazine shortly after moving. Now, if you're buying a pre-existing home, which 80% of what's being purchased is pre-existing, most people are buying a house they like but don't love.
Right.
So there's going to be projects that they're going to need to upgrade, if it's redoing flooring or kitchen or fresh coat of paint, interior or exterior. My advertisers are everything from flooring, the roofing, from landscaping, the pool building.
Right.
So anything around that home. And then the same thing with the new construction homes. Even if it's a new construction, might not be remodeling the kitchen, but you're going to need blinds and shutters. You're going to need to get home furnishings, home furniture, other things, especially when 50% of our new homeowners here in the Phoenix metro area and Tucson are newcomers.
Yeah.
They don't know who the local contractors are. They don't know who the businesses are to work with. So I'm able to pre-screen some of those, be able to deliver a message to that new homeowner who's looking for new everything, especially for the newcomers to Arizona. They're looking for new everything.
Right, because like you do the call tracking already, right?
Right.
Now it's just like, hey, we also sent this many people to your website
Right.
from our site. What they don't know is how many people directly went from the magazine and just typed in their name.
And that's an amazing one, because I actually had an advertiser that didn't launch a new website. They launched a new domain name. And their web guy was he's going, we had 25 hits, unique hits to our website in the last 2 weeks. How'd that happen?
Yeah, they Googled it.
No, it wasn't. If you Googled, it was still going to the old website.
Oh, gotcha.
They literally saw the ad in the magazine and went, and that's what really, that was one, because they only got 6 phone calls that was out of the magazine, but they had 25 hits to their website. I think I was on the phone with you the next day after I go, Josh, we need to figure out something new here.
Yeah.
You know, I knew they were going to the website. I used to say you could take whatever you can measure directly out of the magazine, add 10%. I'm now identifying it's far more than that.
Well, and it's interesting because, like, in my world, in the digital world, what we found is people that run display campaigns, right? So whether it's site retargeting, somebody's business site, or some like a geofencing campaign, or even like search keyword targeting, that kind of thing. What we find is when they're running these, you don't always, I mean, the click-through rates are low. They're usually about 0.05% is the actual industry standard. We're typically almost 0.1%. But yeah, you see that traffic, but what you almost always see is this correlation of organic in Google go up pretty, 10, 15%.
Right.
The only other thing they changed was display. Well, that means they saw the ad, and instead of clicking on the ad, which people are taught not to click on ads, they literally went to their URL or Siri or whatever, and then they just typed in that, and then boom, now it gets counted as organic. Yeah. So those are some interesting pieces you can always tie together.
And this is all Greek to me, and I'm Greek, but that's why someone like you is so important for companies to work with. So many people are trying to figure out all that stuff themselves.
Yeah.
I'm an old print guy. Okay, that's why people that understand it are critical. When I originally looked to start my company, it was, and I still have, I'm owner and president of Partners in Marketing. My original goal was to take my knowledge in the direct mail industry and find people like you who understood the electronic and the whole web base, and find somebody that maybe understood the other means of radio, newspaper, and other ways to be able to market. Find a lot of like-minded business people to help a business person grow their business. And the whole part of that was the magazine became my vehicle.
Right.
So when it comes to somebody going, okay, you help me in this area, what else can you do? And when it comes to the internet, that's why I point to you. You know what you know, I don't know anywhere near what you know. That's why I like to work with somebody like you who knows what I don't know.
Well, and that's the best.
There was a whole lot of no's in one places.
Well, that's the best of so many worlds, right? Because like I know there's things that you know far better than me. Like when it comes to print, I mean, I could even call you and be like, hey, maybe they're not even in the home service world. You want a consulting gig, with these guys who are looking to do some direct mail, and you can be like, yep, because you're going to know how to answer questions for them that I just am not going to know.
When it comes, and I've had a number of others. I mean, I know some people that are very efficient and effective in the web. There is no way to electronically target new homeowners.
Yeah.
You can find different things. People go, well, you could get it this way. It's like just because somebody turned on or bought a new iPad and has a new IP address doesn't mean they're a new homeowner.
Right.
And that's what a lot of other ones will say. Oh, we could target those for you. And I go, I need to narrow down how you're doing that, because I want to be able to look at a way to target them electronically. It can't be done. It can't be done. You can find people that are looking for this particular thing and be able to remarket to them. Or, it's interesting. You look up one thing in one area, and then all of a sudden you're seeing all the pop-up ads of all the other comparable businesses who are doing the geo-netting.
That's search and contextual targeting. That just means some, and they didn't go on Google, they searched some on some website, they did a search. Now that's logged there, and because they did a search on whatever chandeliers or like you were talking about the backyard barbecue, like they did a search on that somewhere on the internet, But now they go into this funnel, and you start to see ads that
Right.
way. Yeah, it's fascinating. One thing we got to look into is so it's IP targeting, but they basically reverse engineer the addresses to the IP addresses, IP address of the actual physical location, so you can target digitally. That thing is, it's like you almost want to just advertise the magazine itself.
You know,
Not an advertiser.
it's one to go in. I'd love to say that every single person that receives a copy of my magazine. It's been interesting now that I've been doing it for 13 years. Yes, when somebody gets a magazine the first time or a couple times, you know, they might go through it, and then they'll either send an email or look to unsubscribe. And I get 5 or 10 people a month out of the 135,000. What's been interesting is I've been getting phone calls and emails from people who received the magazine and then went past that 24, 26 month period and going, hey, we used to get your magazine, but I'm not getting it anymore. You know, and so they're used to looking in it to be able to find things. They might have not have been done within that period of time.
Yeah.
You know, I just found the niche because when I'm able to look at the call tracking and I identify the address of who that person has called, I can then look back on my list and see if that person's been in the home 1 to 3 months or 3 to 6 months or 6 months to a year or 1 to 2 years. And I was amazed at the amount of people. It's typically a third. Third of the calls are coming from people who have been in their home less than 6 months. A third of the calls are coming from people who have been in their homes 6 months to a year. A third is coming from people who have been in their homes over a year. Then I get really anal and I start looking at, okay, what kinds of businesses are they calling 1 year to 2 years? And it might be some of the bigger purchases, it might be small. They now got that house livable. Anyone that buys a home, new construction or resale, certain things you have to do.
Right.
Certain things you need to do.
What are the top things, like in the first 6 months, you normally see people do?
Part of it's going to vary. Some of it is going to be, part of it's going to vary if it's new construction or resale. And when I look at the list, I know when that house was built. So I know, and it's flagged if it was a new construction, means first-time homeowner of that home. Window treatments. Got to put blinds and shades up. Something's got to cover those windows. Sunscreens. Okay. Landscaping. New construction, there is no landscaping in the backyard. So they might have put a minimum package together to get the house closed with the trees, some decorative rock, maybe a few things in the front yard, but the backyard's clean slate. So a lot of landscapers are getting calls left and right. And that could be everywhere from pavers to full-blown landscaping, to pool and landscaping. Some might want pavers over here, extend a patio over here, put in some grass or turf or so they're doing a number. So it kind of jumped around there, but it's going to depend a little bit about not just new construction or resale, but then when it's a resale, what does that home need?
Got it.
Is it move-in ready? So there's no real answer or simple answer.
Older home that somebody just bought, you know, a lot of times they're probably looking at HVAC, you know, water units. They're looking at roofing, you know, paint, you know, a lot of the things that are 20
now,
years
most
plus.
of the painting and the companies that do painting, if you're going to move into a home, a lot of that interior painting is going to be done. You know, so what a lot of the painters are getting is the exterior jobs. It's like, okay, let's get the interior done so we could settle in. In some cases, I'm even in there too late. I might be there a month after they're in the home. You know, it's usually within 1 to 3 weeks that they're taking possession of the house. But if somebody knows they're going to replace flooring, a lot of times they're going to do that immediately. It's going to be one of the, I have to do, this floor's got to go, I'm going to get it done. Other ones are going to go, the flooring that's here, that's going to be a month 10 project or a month 15 project. It's not a month 1 project. Because part of it depends on how much money and what their budget is and how much money they have. When somebody sells a $1.5 million home in California, comes over here and buys a $900,000 home, they got some money burning a hole in their pocket.
Yeah.
So they're doing everything quickly. You know, when other ones are going to come in and say, okay, I need the downstroke down in the house. These are things I know. I mean, average, a new homeowner, new construction or resale is going to spend at least $10,000 to $20,000 within their first 6 months, on top of what they paid to buy the house.
Right.
And then what's the projects? You know, and those are the keys to be able to go through on that. So, you know, that's, I know that was a very long-winded way to answer your question, but that's a way to be able to go in. That's why I tell advertisers it's key to hit them early and quick.
Yep.
And consistently.
Right.
Because we don't know what the timing is.
Well, and you answered the question, though. And the question is like, you know, when you move into a new house, like what are the most likely things of somebody to buy within that first 6 months, first year? And then, like you said, it's not necessarily just the time frame. It's the age of the home, where that's going to be and all that. So it's a lot of variables there, which is pretty interesting. Especially, you know, if you're in one of these home service provider industries, like, you know, you basically want to just be in, like you said, early and frequent.
Right. And keep your name in front of them. Now, if you're doing your cross-marketing effectively, I'm going to soften the market for you no matter what.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm in their home. Most people will pick up the magazine and they will go at cover to cover. As we look at pool building and remodeling, screens and shutters, tree service, you know, you want a skylight, you want to get your garage floor coating done, you need some artificial turf, you know, you want to replace, you're buying a resale home, might be 20 years old, need to replace the windows. Or a big thing that people are doing now with all these walls of windows that so many of our Arizona homes have, they're converting those and putting in the big accordion or sliding doors that converts that whole inside to outside living experience that we want to enjoy, not in July when it's 115.
From October to about mid-May.
Right. You know, so they want to get garage storage. I mean, water purification systems, home cleaning, you know, painting. They want a pool cover. You know, people are buying a home. You know, maybe that person had a pool in the backyard. Now a new homeowner, somebody with young kids, need to have fence around that pool or a cover on that pool. You know, so those are certain things that they'll do. You know, again, landscaping, grout cleaning. I mean, I go through all the different types of services, and I give you anywhere from 1 to 3 to be able to choose from. They may not be the cheapest, they may not be the most expensive, but they understand the value of a customer, and they're going to work hard to get it. And it's a big part of what's happening today with the contractors. During COVID, they didn't have to work hard to get business. People were just throwing money at them. They're getting locked in their home. I mean, when have you ever seen a line around a Home Depot for people to get in? During COVID, there were literally lines around Home Depot to get in for all those projects that people had put off. And if they didn't have enough of the money to do it, they just went and pulled home equity on it, and then they started spending money like crazy. Now, some people went in, that created a lot of the problem back in 2008, because back then there was 3 types of homeowners. Those that had bought their home at the right time and moved in it, but then you had a ton of people that bought their home, pulled equity, and then took a trip to Hawaii. And then bought a new Escalade, or did this or did that, and then all of a sudden that home went from $500,000 to $250,000, and they were upside down. And we saw that happen with a lot of the other people that happened back then. People are going to go, we're going to see a crash again. No, back in 2008 and 9, people were buying homes with no money down, 0 interest, and very little risk. So if you bought a house for $500,000 back then and it went to $250,000, you know what they did? They walked. Or short sold it. Okay? Because they had nothing in it. I couldn't do it because I had a downstroke in the house. I didn't want to walk away from the downstroke. But people were buying houses 3 doors down from me for half than what I bought mine, and that was going on all over the Phoenix Metro. And that's going back because people are going to go, oh, it's going to do what it did in 2008. No. We're running into banking problems out there. We're running into a whole lot of just that are happening with our financial world out there.
Well, this wasn't done on bad paper.
No.
In 2008, it was all bad paper. Now it's like, no, everything's been scrutinized, and we'll see a little dip, but we're not going to see that.
Now, we've seen some prices stabilize, but a good valued home still selling for over asking price.
Yeah.
A poorly valued home, when your house is worth 500, you put it on the market for 7. Guess what? You're going to have to drop price to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's the part where we're seeing homes are taking longer to sell. Now, those are the homes that have been on the market. A good valued home goes on the market today, it's going to be sold in 30 days.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where the price range are. The problem that occurs is that first time home buyer, that person that's making good money, is saving up money, wants to buy a home, but when you start taking a look, when you're going to have to pay 6% interest, but like I had said before, actually I just ran numbers again, 58% of the homes purchased last month pay cash. We're not talking investors. That's excluding all the investors. Typically means sold the overpriced home in another market, had a chunk of cash, bought a house, didn't need to be worried about the interest rate because they just paid cash for it. And then other ones realize interest rates will come down again. We may not see 3.75 again.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think it got
It was
all the
like
way down.
2.5.
Yeah, it was 2.5.
Yeah.
We won't see that again.
No.
But I remember buying my first house, I was excited because it was 9.8.
Right.
So.
Which is more how it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I know we got a little bit of time left, and
Right.
I didn't want to exclude the work you do with kids with the cancer. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with that. How can people help? What's that organization look like?
Yeah. Kids in Cancer Camp Agape has been friends of mine at my church have been involved since pretty much inception. It's been around for, I think we're going on 18 years the camp's been around. I've not been involved that long. I think I'm coming up on my 9-year anniversary. And I got to help out with some of the fundraising. And I remember my brother and I were there for one of our fundraising dinners, and the Greeks, they love to cook. So trust me, I didn't do any of the cooking, which brings up a whole nother subject of you helping out when we were doing Greek Fest, which was one of our bigger web ventures.
Yeah.
But, going back to the camp, we're like, okay, this is great. We're able to see all these adults that are investing money to go to a dinner to raise money for the camp. Where are the kids? And so a few of the families would come. We're like, we'll continue to help, but we want to go to camp. So it was, I think 2015 was the first camp my brother and I went to. And what Camp Agape is we take typically between 15 and 25 kids that are inflicted with cancer or any other life-threatening disease. We don't just bring the kid to a camp. There's a lot of camps available for the kids. We bring the whole family because that life-threatening disease doesn't just affect one kid.
Yeah.
It affects the whole family. So if we bring 25 kids to a camp along with their family members, a lot of times grandparents will come, some cousins or whatever, it'd be 125 people we bring to camp. Camp Agape is nothing more than having fun and getting these families away from their day-to-day routine, which is dealing with medications, hospital visits, doctor visits. We're fortunate that most of the kids we're working with still might be in the middle of their battle, but they're functioning. They're able to do things. We bring nursing staff that is there to support if need be. But we just have fun. Mm-hmm. We capture the whole weekend. Camp Agape is all about creating lasting memories. And our hopes, prayers are that these kids are going to grow up to be adults to be able to share with their families. So we bring in people who are doing photography, videos. We're capturing all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, we did our camp here in June. We did horseback riding, fishing, kayaking. We had water slides. We had people that would come in. We called Deb the snake lady. She comes in and all the adults were going, "You're not bringing in people with snakes and lizards," and the kids are like, "Oh my God!"
Oh, they love it.
Oh, they're loving it. These kids are gone, and they're through treatment. They've lost their hair, and they're having them put snakes on their head, and they're having a blast. All the rest of us are like in the other side of the room, but it's all about fun.
Yeah.
It's all about that and capturing. We did a reunion this past January, where there were a lot of the families that came that were before I was going to camp. And it's nice because a lot of these kids are now in their 20s. Some of them are now married with kids that they're bringing. When the sad side is some don't make it. But the funerals that I've been to, the photos that are there, many of them are in regards to the memories that they were able to create for that family at Camp Agape. Many of them aren't able to take many vacations or getaways. So Camp Agape is their getaway. So those are, you get me all teared up with it because we're getting ready. We do one camp.
LA, right?
Yeah, we're doing one camp here in Arizona. We do our second camp is in Southern Cal. We're outside of San Diego, up in the mountains in Ramona, which is a totally different group of kids and families. But many of us here in Arizona will go over and we'll volunteer at that camp. We'll have anywhere from 15 to 30 volunteers that are there. We bring in for massages. So if mom and dad want some real quiet time, they go get a massage. We have people that will take care of the kids and be able to make sure the kids are safe while they're getting relaxed and so on. We'll do another one up. There's a Greek monastery up outside of Fresno, up in Dunlop, California. So we do a third camp up there. And many of our core people will be the volunteers at those. And then there's a fourth camp that's actually up in the Portland area that is done. And it was all about being able to, again, create lasting memories. And so I'm very passionate about it. I have no problem asking people for money, support, donations, other things that they can do to be able to support Camp Agape. It's an expensive deal. We give the kids gifts, toys, sleeping bags, towel. I mean, so many different things that we just try to spoil them as much as we can for 3 to 4 days at the camp and to make a difference. We've also, over during the COVID years, we weren't able to do camps. So there were some of the families that were struggling with trying to get treatments taken care of, which we're not talking about a weight loss treatment. We're talking about life-threatening treatments that if they don't get this done. And so part of the camp has been able to help out some of those families with some of those treatments, or if they run into financial difficulties, or putting together a support team. It's one thing for me to be at camp and be sympathetic, empathetic with the families, but it's not my child. So when you take a parent who is living the same dream and nightmare that they are and put them together, we have seen such strong support that I might talk to one parent and get an update on 3 or 4 others on how they're doing. We get real excited when we hit that 5-year mark, when you're in 5 years of remission and you're able to say, I'm cancer free. And we hope that stays forever. We're dealing with some kids that as they've gotten older, they've had other complications. It's just disgusting. It's so sad to see. I've dealt with deaths of loved ones, parents, but to go through it as a parent with a child, you have 3 amazing kids. to have to go through that. You'll walk through anything you have to do. Some of these parents are working 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that they don't miss a treatment.
Right.
And there's a lot of groups that are out there about research and cures, which I encourage everyone to be able to contribute money on that side. Mm-hmm. We're developing some new things. I might be tapping into you for developing some new stuff that we can get more of a supportive. We have a local Facebook page. We're tied into a regional group. It's the ladies of our church. It's called the Philoptikos. The Philoptikos means to help the needy. It's all back to the Greeks again. Mm-hmm. You know, we love to help people. Mm-hmm. And it's some very amazing ladies that have started this with one of the priests out of our California areas. So we work regionally. There's 4 churches here that work to be able to help contribute between volunteers, money, and so on. We normally do an annual dinner. We're rethinking that. Every year we do a large online auction. Mm-hmm. And I encourage all of my advertisers, all my friends, everyone else to either donate things we can do on the auction or to buy things that are on the auction. And we'll have everything from, Toyota donated passes to the suite for NASCAR, which, I went to bid on it to get the bid up 2 years ago, and I ended up with the bid. Yeah. And it was super cool. I mean, we're in the Toyota suite, going in, and it was like, this is a really cool reward for helping out a really great organization. Totally. So right now, the best way to find locally on that is we have a Facebook page, which is Kids in Cancer Camp Agape.
Kids in or Kids and?
Kids and the letter N.
Okay.
Kids and Cancer.
Okay.
And Camp Agape. And one of the things with Agape, Greeks love to do overkills. So there's 4 words that mean love in Greek. And agape is the unconditional love. And that is what most parents have for their children, is that unconditional love that is going to go through. So that's where the Camp Agape came from. Cool. And we're not just cancer, we're any other life-threatening disease. And these kids are so resilient. Yeah. Every adult that has problems should deal with some of these resilient kids. Yeah. They're amazing. Mm-hmm. They're like, you know what? You think I'm scared of a snake? I just fought cancer. I can take on the snake. I can do this. I can do that. And a lot of them really flourish in life after dealing with adversity. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one of the keys in life is a matter of you could deal with those challenges. I've seen enough of your podcast, the constant theme that goes in. We're all going to have stuff thrown at us. Yeah. It's how we deal with it and how it consumes us.
Yeah, I was just talking to my partner this morning, and he said, if it wasn't for these speed bumps, it wouldn't be as fun getting the rewards. And it's true. I mean, there's been times, limited times in my life where it's like everything's just damn near perfect. And you're just like, okay, it's kind of boring, you know? And then not that you look for issues, but issues make, that win even sweeter when you get there. It
pushes you harder. I had the pleasure. I have a good friend of mine that's in town whose daughter works with the Phoenix Mercury. Mm-hmm. So got to go as part of the family and stuff. We stuck around after the game and just looking at how hard these athletes have worked to get there. Yeah. And especially part of the WNBA, they're passionate about life. Mm-hmm. They really look at, and you can see, and we've been blessed in Arizona with a lot of exceptional athletes that care. Mm-hmm. And they work very hard. I mean, I mentioned one is Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, as amazing as he was, what's more amazing is all the charities, all the good things, and all the giving back that he does. It's one thing to be successful, but when you're able to give back and make a difference in the world, we live in the greatest country on the planet. Cherish what is available to you,
Yeah.
and break through the barriers. It will make you stronger. It will make you better. And God knows in business, we've had to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to go through that battle, because that's what calluses you and allows you to go that next 10 feet, next 10 yards, 100 yards, whatever it is. And I don't think people realize that. It's the suck that makes you great.
It really is. I mean, I've gotten complacent and got on autopilot at different times, and all of a sudden you get that slap and go, ooh, okay, maybe I do have some more. Let me take it to the next level. When I need to take it to the next level, I call Josh. So it's a matter of going in and seeing, all right, how can we do this? I don't know how to do it, but I know how to find people that do, and that's the whole thing. Where do you get the answers?
Right.
And what we want is answers on how to get better, not answers on why you're here. It's, I don't want to be here. I want to be here.
Right.
How do I get from here to there? And who can help me get there? And if the people around you are helping you keep you where you don't want to be, it's maybe to rethink who you're circling yourself with. Most successful people surround themselves with successful people. Not just because they like being around successful people, it's because I want to get to here.
Well, and there's this understanding between people that are pushing themselves harder.
Right.
When the masses aren't doing that, it's very easy to lower your ambition to their level.
Right.
Well, then you never get to the goal. And if you're around a people, I know you know Tommy Mello, right? And that guy is skyrocketed into another stratosphere.
When I met Tommy, his first office might have been as large as this area that we're sitting in, and to see his new office now, and I talked to a few of the people that at the home show this last week, and it's like, where's Tommy this week? And talk about energy driven and just a sponge of information and knowledge to be able to take it to a next level. He's had the dream to where he wants to be for a long time. He just didn't know how to get there, but once he figured out the first steps, he's taken it to a whole new level. I call him the kid, because he's even younger than you.
I saw him speak in January. And then Jessica saw him speak 2 days ago.
Oh, did you?
He was with Jason Von Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing, and and Tommy's. I've talked to him here and there through like social media, and he's just a genuine guy. But he knows what he wants.
Right.
He loves his people, and he is going to get to that goal.
Right.
So
and he is the true help enough people get what they want, and you will get more than what you've ever dreamed of.
Absolutely.
And he is all about being able to help. He has given away more knowledge than most people have ever accumulated.
Right.
And he has no problem sharing it.
Nope. Podcasts, emails, I mean, all that stuff. So before we wrap up, I got a question. So do we have a Greek? Do we have a Greek fest?
We've gone through. There's a line at the church that has been a lot of the end of it. It's so much work. It is so much work to be able to put it together. And the work's not just the weekend of the festival. It's all the prepping, the preparing,
start
the cooking.
Advertising a month prior.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. So, we have done a few, we've done a number of carry-out events where some of the people can get some of the Greek food. It's not the same. It's not the same atmosphere. A few months back, we did a one-day, 5-hour event where we had some of our Greek foods. We brought in a few of our dancers. They have some of the entertainment. Not as big as when we're looking at a 3-day festival with vendors, with all the different food booths, with the live Greek music and all that. We're working on it, but we're going to go. Meantime, there's a great one in Central Phoenix that has always done that first weekend in October, which I love going because I could go and I don't have to work. I could watch them on TV at 6 in the morning. I don't have to be there with my friends at Channel 3 and the other TV channels to be able to go through, to be there at 6 in the morning after closing it down and getting out of there about midnight or 1 in the morning the night before. So, usually I need a couple days of total recuperation after Greek Fest, but it's a lot of work, but another very rewarding thing. I keep saying, all my friends are going, man, you're helping with this, you're doing this, you're doing this. I go, I'm just trying to pay back for my terrible teens. So when that day comes, I get to knock on the gates that they actually open.
Right, yeah.
And I get to come in.
Oh yeah, your name's here. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're here and not the trap door. I saw something today. It's like, it was something where somebody's in hell, and and he's sitting there, and the devil's going. He's going, it's not that bad here, and the devil's going, I hate when these people from Arizona come here.
Right. Yeah.
I saw another one. We're at the pearly gates, and they're going, okay, well, we'll give you time served. You're from Arizona. So, and it's a few months out of the year. You'll see me posting all kinds of weather 80 degrees in February.
Send it back to Chicago friends.
Right. I will always go through. So I know we jumped around a whole lot there.
No, this is a lot of fun. I mean, we've been trying to coordinate this for a while, and we're finishing up some stuff on your website. So guys, check out welcomehomeaz.net. We've got some big updates coming to that. If you are a home service provider, go directly to the website. You can inquire on advertising. We'll put Sam's information in there as well. I know you got a lot out of this. Some fun things. We'll have some clips. Make sure to share this out with a friend that can get something out of it. But appreciate you coming on today.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
You got it.
We'll see you guys.